Jai Hind. Hello cadets. Today we are going to discuss another article from physics from the NDA syllabus, that is levers. Okay. Now, any plank or a rod or similar object which is free to rotate and has two forces applied at 2 points on the rod itself can be called as a lever. So basically there are two forces involved and then there is 1 point on the lever about which the lever can rotate at least partially. So the best and the simplest and most common example is a seesaw that we observe or play with in a public park. So at two ends, there are two children sitting. So two forces at the two ends. There is a hinge at the center about which the seesaw can rotate. Now, some terminology associated with levers. First, the two forces have got specific names. One is called as a load and the other is called as effort. So effort is the force that we apply in order to lift or displace the load, and the support about which the lever rotates is called as a fulcrum. So in case of a seesaw, this hinge is a fulcrum. Okay? Now, depending on the position, or should we say relative position of these three, that is load, effort and fulcrum, the lever can be classified into three types. So, first type, the hinge is at one end, that is the fulcrum. There is a load in between. At the other end, there is effort. Now, the best example of this kind of lever is a nutcracker. So, example, nutcracker. So, what we do in a nutcracker is, on one end there is hinge, in between that you keep a nut, at the end of it we keep our hand above and below and we apply the effort. So we apply the effort to crack the nut that is placed here between the fulcrum and the effort. So second type of lever we have just mentioned here, that is the seesaw. The only difference is sometimes we want this lever to produce a higher or greater force than what is applied. So imagine this, that there is a fulcrum here, there is some load to be lifted or displaced, and there is effort applied at the other end. So this is another type of lever. In the third type, now here the example of this is anywhere we want to lift or displace a load, we take a steel rod and we insert it below that load and we use like a stone or something as a fulcrum to lift that load. So the fulcrum provides the support to enable the effort lift the load properly. Third example is the fulcrum is at one end and load is at the other end. Effort is applied in between. So, one of the best examples of this is a holder or tongs. Okay? In Hindi, we call it a chimta. So, when we hold the chimta, what do we do exactly is, one side there is fulcrum, other side, other end there is load, we hold it in between. So, imagine that you are roasting rotis over a chula or a open gas burner and you are holding that chimta, you are using the chimta to roast the rotis, to hold the rotis above the flame. So on one side there is fulcrum, in between that you are holding the chimta, so that is your effort, and at the other end there is this roti. So the bread, so it is being roasted, so this is your last type of lever. Okay, now the mathematical equation or the formula applicable for levers involves the concept of moment of a force or torque, which is ability of a force to produce the rotational motion or to produce or change the state of rotational motion. Like imagine this example, best possible example to understand. Suppose the load is W, the effort is P. Now this is your fulcrum. Let the distance of the load from the fulcrum is denoted by RW. Distance of the effort from the fulcrum is denoted by RP. So, the moment of effort about the fulcrum is P multiplied by RP, and the moment or torque of load about the fulcrum is W multiplied by RW. So, for equilibrium, the minimum condition is that these two should be equal. Now, if we rearrange this equation, so we get P is equal to W inside the bracket RW divided by RP. Now, look at the diagram. It is very clear that RW is smaller, RP is greater. So, we can very well apply that condition here that RW is less than RP. This implies W is greater than P. Now, what do you mean by that? By this, we mean that load is greater than effort. How come load is greater than effort? Meaning that here a smaller force can be used to lift a larger load. Why? Because moment arm of the effort is greater than moment arm of the load. So, a simple trick, simple shortcut that we can use to generate larger force. So, it's like you apply only 100 Newton force as effort, but on the other end, you generate 1000 Newton force simply by making this 10 times greater than this. So, sometimes this factor RP upon RW is also called as the force multiplying factor. How? See, if RP is a 5 times RW, then load is a 5 times effort, force multiplication factor becomes equal to 5. So, the lever, one of the most common example of lever is our elbow joint. Okay. Now, in our elbow joint or the entire forearm, elbow joint acts as a fulcrum. The load is at this end in our palm when we lift load like this. So, here is the load, here is the fulcrum, the effort is here, which is the ligament of the biceps muscles. The ligament is attached here. So, fulcrum at one end, load at other end, effort in between them. So, this is the second type of lever that we have seen. So, here the moment arm of load is greater, moment arm of effort is smaller. So, remember, moment arm of the load is greater, moment arm of the effort is smaller. So, to lift a smaller load, you need a bigger effort. Meaning, if I am lifting a load of 100 kilogram like this, my muscles are applying a force much greater than 100 kilograms. Why? It is because of the arrangement that the nature has provided us here. So, another example of lever that we can consider is a beam balance. Now, beam balance is a very special type of lever. See, just now we saw that if moment arm of load is greater, then effort required is smaller, and moment arm of load is smaller, so load becomes bigger. So, whoever has larger moment arm, that force can be small. But what if RP and RW both are equal, then effort and load will also be equal. So, that's what happens in a beam balance or a tarazu, the one that we see in the grocery shop. What happens in a beam balance is load and effort have equal moment arm. That means the fulcrum, the hinge, is situated exactly midway between load and effort. So that on one side you put a standard 1 kilogram weight, on the other side you put some grocery like maybe sugar or peanuts or something like that. So when the load and the effort, when force on both sides of the beam balance become equal, only then it will become horizontal, only then it will remain in that position. So that test is used as a condition for considering equal weight of the two objects placed on the two sides of the balance. Okay, that's all from levers. Thank you.